Good morning, family. How's the family doing? Okay, over here. Just gotta get done. Let me put this here. Oh, child. Good. Uh-oh. The bird's coming to tell me something. They come over here chirping to my window. Come on and speak, ancestors. Ooh, child. Okay, good morning, family. I'm gonna do a couple of readings. This energy up. Let me get in here in this live. Okay, let's see. Let's see in this live. All right, I'm trying to get in this live, family. Can you all hear me, family? See if it's coming through good. Can you all hear me, family? Okay, I'm coming through. I'm coming through. Okay. Good morning, CC. All right, good morning, family. Family, I'm just going to do a quick, I don't know why this just did this. Hold on. Let me try. Do it again. All right, there you go. Reading on this case. I don't know. I've been getting a lot of, I'm just really getting into my back emails. And I see a lot, this seems like this is a case that has already been going on about this young lady, Kelli Bryant. So because a lot have been requesting it, and I'm just getting to it, all right? I'm just going to go ahead and pull on this case while I'm up here this morning. So this is Kelli Bryant, and if some of you all don't know from what I've read, that this young mother had left, I believe, 3 or 4 children home alone, but this been for an extensive amount of time. I believe it probably 4 or 5 years. They saying that these children have been left unattended. So I'm just going to pull and see what the ancestors bring out regarding this young lady. They also said that they was in like unsanitary living conditions. So from what I heard, it was horrific. Okay, but let's tap in. Let's look, because you all know how this goes, right? Ancestors bring to the forefront of what people trying to hide and deceive us about, and what we don't see with the naked eye. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull and see what's going on in this case. Another thing I want to say is everything here is allegedly, I'm just channeling messages from the spiritual realm. So this is all on a spiritual basis. Okay. So let's see what the ancestors bring out regarding Kelli Bryant. This is Kelli Bryant. Ooh, child. Come on, ancestors. Ancestors done doing the shuffle in here. All right, let's see. Can I get it back? I don't know. You all probably could see me. I just can't see it because everything went dark on my screen. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. You all can still see me, but I can't see you all up. I don't know. It just went. Everything just went dark in there. Very dark living conditions. I'm going to just say that. Kelli Bryant, ancestors clarity to the situation regarding Kelli Bryant. And I believe I read that she's in Detroit, Michigan, right? Detroit. I don't know. Detroit, it's been some things going on there in Detroit. All right, family, I'm just going to say that. Let me turn this on because I'm working with the natural light, and sometimes because it's raining, it's a little dull out there. So I just turn on this light just to help it out a little bit. All right, so I see the judicial system, the ancestors has come through. I'm seeing some things in the past with her. So This just tells me that she could have been involved with the judicial system, because the ancestors is the actual ancestors, and also it tells us about the judicial system, okay? So it looked like she had some past interaction going on in there with them, but she's satisfied here at the end. So something's going on here, right? Where I have to look at some past things, right? But her being satisfied. So some things did work on her behalf, dealing with, you know, the courts and whatever have you back there. But I want you all to look at the secret of her, right? Going on about life. She happy just going on about her life, right? So she content with some things. Tap into some further messages regarding Kelli Bryant. I got some messages that flew out, but it's too many. I'm going to put some back. Let's see. Let's come out here. Too many messages. We're going to put these back. Family, I did go on my morning walk this morning. I'll show you all what jumped out the deck. All right. These are too many messages, so I'm going to put them back. But I'll show you all what comes out. So, right here, we have some sexual things going on, even a sexual partner, okay? I'm seeing some, you know, involvement with the court. So, some involvement with the court with sexual partners in the past, because this is the past, all right? And she was content. So, whatever the outcome was in this situation, she was happy. She was satisfied with it, all right? So, some past things about that. I'm also seeing here's the organ, some things going on here. Government officials, and I got to look at some past things. So, also some past things. These are people in high places, the ancestors, right? The courts, so the judicial system, lawyers, doctors, and so forth like that. So she got some other things that's going on in here, health-wise, okay? And I got to look at people turning a blind eye to some things, all right? Even government officials, right? I'm seeing some sacrifices in here in the past, and I got to look at some things that she have been doing, because, you know, people will sacrifice you for many reasons. I done said that, right? So I got to look at the many things, right? And her sacrificing the other half, right? For many of reasons in the past, okay? Sometimes people do this to get your money, right? Actual money. So they'll do certain things in here. So this is ancestors bringing out a lot of her past. Here's the employment. Here's the guilty. And here's the happy. So she content with some things. She's guilty of doing some things in here. It looked like some things when it comes to money. Okay, so whatever that may be. All right, and I'm seeing a sacrifice here with sexual partners. Okay, so I have to look at that. So sometimes, you know, they'll take your money, don't use it on the kids, do things like that. So it's some things going on in here. All right, that the ancestors bring it to the forefront. All right, let's see these messages that flew out. The trash, triumph, let me see. The angel, the genocide. Look like she may have terminated some pregnancies as well. Here's the love. Here's the playful. Here's the neighbor. Here's law enforcement. These jumped out the deck. Here's the reward. I'm going to put them back, but I just want you all to see. Secrets. A lot of secrets is going on in here. Stranger. So some unaccustomed feelings. Drown. Yeah, looked like she had some abortions too. All right? Everything is allegedly. Clothes. Neglect. All right? So these are some things that has been going on in her. Some secrets that comes out that the ancestors are saying, take a deeper look at, that flew out the deck. All right, so all that has come out. It looked like she had been struggling with some things, but she also has been, you know, successful in doing some things as well. Okay, so I'm just going to say that. I'm going to leave that at that. All right, a lot of negligence in there on her part. Okay. And it looked like, yeah. All right, let's go a little deeper into here. What family in here talking about? Good morning, Lady T and family. Good morning, Ronald. By the way, good morning, Jackie. Okay. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Melissa. Good morning. You live in Detroit? How's Detroit, Jackie? Clarity into the messages. Just going in for clarity. I don't know why my screen did that, but okay. As long as you all can see me. Oops. That was already... All right, so it looked like here's the reward. Here's the water and here's the future. Okay, so it looked like she's trying to clean up some things from the past. All right. One of these, I got to look at the rewards. So the rewards that she was getting some kind of, you know, achievement, recognition and so forth that she was getting. One looked like had to do with money, right? Things with employment, things with the rewards she's getting from us, her other half. So a partner that's in here. Okay. And also her future. Okay. So it's some things that's going on in here, right? Not only do I have some emotional things going on in here, but I also have her trying to clean up some things and clean up some past things, right? Clean up some past things, even regarding her, you know, sexual partner and sexual things that she has been doing in here. And I have to look deeper into this sacrifice as well, right? At the end, I'm seeing a sacrifice in here. So sometimes you'll sacrifice your children for sexual needs, right? So you may leave your children, leave them alone and go and live another life somewhere with another partner or whatever you doing, right? Or whatever kind of activities you doing, picking up another job, whatever you may be doing, right? So I'm just seeing these things that's going on in here. Ancestor said, look deeper into what she tried to clean up in the past and the emotional trauma that's going on in here in the past, okay? Because from what I see right here, right, this health related things, this is trauma, okay, in here that she had. So some things happened to her, and it could have been sexual related trauma that she's going through from the past as well. All right. I'm also seeing this as far as work is concerned and financial things goes. I'm also seeing her guilty, right? So it's kind of like she's not doing something, right? Could be the betterment of herself for her future in here, the way the ancestors have this, right? But she's content with a lot of things, all right? She's content. Go deeper into these messages. To get me a what's the name to bang my deck to straighten them out on and not here on my desk, cause or move my thing to another place. Yeah. Okay, ancestors threw this back out, which is the neglect, and I gotta look at the suicidal, right? I don't know what that was. I don't know if you all heard it. What the heck is that? That must be my son. He must be outside of my door or something. Because it's like, it's like some ringtone or something. I don't know what the heck that is. But here's the suicidal and the sexual. Okay, family. So right here, this is just telling me that something happened here. This is some trauma, right? Usually, and I got to look at some sexual trauma back here, and it makes you not mentally stable. All right. So this is another reason why the ancestors are saying take a deeper look into her past, right? And some emotional things and things that she tried to clean up. So when you try to clean up, you hide these things. All right. So she may not talk about it. She may not ever talk about it. She may keep this bottled up. All right. But this is past emotional trauma that's going on back here. All right. And I'm not making an excuse for her, but sometimes when she's not mentally stable, all right, family? She's not mentally stable. So when we have mental issues that's going on, and all this is allegedly, all right? She may not have ever been diagnosed with it, okay? But from what the spiritual realm is throwing out, she's not mentally stable because of some things that happened in her past, okay? So when you have somebody that's doing that, they tend to neglect things, right? They tend to neglect people. They tend to not care about certain things that they should, or be productive in a certain way. So this is what I'm seeing in here, right? I have neglect going on in here, and I'm having some sacrifices. So not only the negligence that's going on with self, right? I got to look at the negligence of the children and other things like that. You just not properly caring for someone or something. Just not, right? But I'm also seeing some self-harm things going on in here, right? And I'm seeing the mental, her mental is not good, right? Here the ancestors said, here's a health professional, here's the suicide in the future. So now they got to put this lady on suicide watch. And I hate to say that, but it's true because it's coming out in her future, okay? So she does need a health professional for, right, suicidal thoughts, suicidal things, because it's some things that's catching up with her. And even though if she doesn't exhibit them now, mentally she's not stable. That's what the ancestors are saying. And it looked like some things from her past, right, maybe coming to haunt her, some things that she never have gotten treatment from. All right, so this is what I'm seeing in here. I'm also seeing some things that's going on in here that's saying that in the past she did some self-harm things, okay, in the past, right? Although she was content with that, and I got these mixed emotions going on there, mental things going on, right? Here's the human trafficking, here's the organ, right? I'm gonna say this because sometimes people use you for their own pleasures, right? Whatever the pleasures may be, all right? And I already said what one of them was in here, right? This is her past, so yeah, some other things going on with this lady, okay? Here's the drown. Here's the government official. This is terminating a pregnancy. So somewhere in her past, this has happened, allegedly. All right, family? And I'm also seeing the government officials in there, what's going on past and in the future. Okay, so it seems like she always going to be in the court system or need the mental health in here. So the higher ups from the past and in the future, right? Because it's some things that's going on with her. She need a health professional for suicide, so she need mental health services, okay? Some things is going on in here, all right? So we have to look deeper into this neglect. See, it's good to know what is going on with a person so we can understand or get a better understanding of why we at this point. So we're at this point now with the children being left home alone for years because is negligence going on. Yes, the ancestors said yes, at the end is neglect, right? And at the end she sacrificed her children, right? For her happiness, for her future, right? But also she's going through some past emotional trauma back here, all right? Something that she never got help from, something that somebody turned the blind eye to. So she's way in over her head with a lot of things, all right? So that's what I'm seeing in here. So those of you all who was looking at Kelli Bryant, asking me, Kelli Bryant have some issues going on there. I don't care if she has been diagnosed or haven't been diagnosed with whatever's going on mentally. But the ancestors, the spiritual realm, they already know what's going on, all right? She need help. She needs to learn how to cope with some things, all right, that happened from her past. So this is what I'm seeing on this young lady, Kelli Bryant, all right? We praying for the children, all right? Ancestors said negligence is involved. There's no doubt, okay? Is neglect going on in here, okay? At the end is neglect, and she sacrificed her children, okay? But also, she have things that's going on with her. You understand? She got issues going on back there. All right, family. So that's it. Let me see what you all are saying. Grand Rising on my journey. Good morning, Ann. So that is on her. Now I'm going to look at this CEO that a lot of you have been talking about. Let's see. Agustin Escobar. All right, so let's look at Agustin Escobar family. From what I've read, family has updated me on this Agustin Escobar. Looks like he was a big, somebody big, right, in the corporate industry. Okay, he was a CEO, and you know him, his wife, and his children all perished in the pilot, all perished in this this helicopter crash that happened in New York City. All right, family. So in case you all don't know that, and they was up there sightseeing, and on top of that, they was celebrating his wife's 40th birthday. Okay, so let's see what comes out in this case, right? We're praying for the family. We're praying for the families because I don't know what's going on, right? I saw the footage of the helicopter, and I saw the blade of the helicopter coming down after the helicopter went down. So I don't know. Did somebody tamper with something? Did nobody did an inspection? No, I don't know. Right? Let's see what's going on in here. Right? But we're praying for this family, right? Because still we have lives that's has been lost, family. So let's look at Agustin Escobar. Agustin Escobar. Ancestors clarity into the situation regarding Agustin Escobar. Oh, child. Ancestors want to throw it out. Oh, what's that? This flew out the deck. So I got the nude. The nude just tell me about violations, right? I tell you, family, people can violate you in many ways. So let's just hold off on these violations for a minute. That jump out the deck. Right? Oh, child. All right, ancestors. The energy is something else. All right. So I got some violations. I'm really keeping my eye on these violations that's going on in here. Okay? Really keeping my eye on these violations because this energy is something else. All right. Agustin Escobar, ancestors clarity into the situation regarding Agustin Escobar. All right. So for one, I got the animal. The animal just tells me about animal like instincts, unruly children, right? But it tells me about fading relationships, right? And yes, it could be an actual animal. So I got some faded relationships, and I got the future, right? I got to look deep into this future, okay? Because something was going on here, right? In this man's future, or something he had a faded relationship with somebody, right? In the future that's going on in here with them. So pay attention to that because I'm seeing the strength in here. So not over is he trying to overcome some obstacle in here with this person, right? Something more is going on in here because I'm telling you, these people really be in the lion's den in here. All right? So this look like a relationship in here. May have been going sour somewhere, right? So let's look at this. These violations. Okay, let's see. So some things is about to come out, right? Messages that Agustin Escobar would like us to know, ancestors. I need to move this over some. Look at this accident at the head. Hold on. Let me move this over so I can move my deck over some. so I can move this off of here. I got too many things up here. I need to move it over. All right. All right, I have an accident, which is a situation. All right, so the accident is the situation, right? Whether the accident is a genuine accident, so, or if somebody's trying to make it look like an accident. But I have some fading relationships that's going on in here regarding this situation. All right, with this whole airplane accident, that helicopter accident that doesn't happen in here. All right, look at this sacrifice. I have to look at this sacrifice in here and this accident that happened, right? Because of somebody's future, right? And it could be his future, because sometimes people sacrifice you to take your position, right? So something's going on in here. Here's the caretaker, here's the triumph, and here's this animal in here. I have to look at who is the caretaker in here regarding some things, and the success in here. So yes, I would have to look at him as a CEO, and I would have to look probably at somebody else back there in the background somewhere, okay, that he's having a fading relationship with in here, all right? Because I have to look at the success of him, his company, whatever he's doing in there, all right? And I have to look at somebody who's possibly an enemy, because now you guys was once good, and now you're having a falling out in here, all right? Not only do I gotta look at him wanting his justice, right? Here's the justice, so some fairness, balance in here. Here's the bond in here. Here's the strength. So I have to look at what happened in this situation, right? Not only do he want things to come to light, right? He wants somebody to be held accountable for this as well, okay? And from what I've picked up in my energy, it's like this individual, Escobar, like very given person, right? A given person. So something's going on with these violations. All right, let's see. Clarity into the messages. Clarity. Ooh, I'll get that in a minute. Something flew out. This flew out, right? So I got the Wheel of Fortune that comes out in here. I tell you, family, this wheel could turn many ways, right? Sometimes it turns for one person prosperity and the other person demise, right? Whatever. But this wheel is steady turning, right? Sometimes you get the good end of the stick while the other person get the raw end of the stick. So that wheel is just a turning, right? It could turn for your fate, for your karma, right? For your success, abundance. But something's going on in here, right? And I have to look at this faded relationship back here in the innocence in this, right? I also have to look at the success that's going on in here that the ancestors has brought out. I have to look at these activities that the ancestor says. So here I got somebody future activities, right? And how this situation is to sacrifice somebody because of some future activities. Because the park tells us about recreation, right? Recreational things. It tells us about activities, right? So the future recreational things that they may do regarding their employment. I have to look at this because the ancestor said, take a deeper look at this park in this future. So I have to take a deeper look at some things in here while somebody will want to sacrifice you, right? And sometimes they set it up to make it look like an accident, right? Here's the justice, here's the bond, here's the employment, here's the strength back here. And I feel like, too, I got to look at somebody who's closely connected in here as well. Right? So sometimes you work with these people and you form a bond with them, but then you have a falling out because maybe you're prospering in one area and they not, or maybe they want a spot and you didn't give it to them, whatever the case is, but something more is going on in here. Okay? All right, let's go a little deeper in here. Let's see what you all are saying. If you all are talking in there, I don't know, because my comments come and go. All right, let's see. Deeper. Definitely going up that ladder in here, right? Somebody's success in there. And I got a sacrifice in here, and I got a partner, right? You know what's so crazy is I was saying she when I heard about this story, and yesterday I was talking to someone and I said she, like I was saying she. I wonder if is some kind of back involvement. Everything in here is allegedly, but now it makes me think about some things, right? Why I would say that, but also I would get this energy in here about this, right? I don't know. It kind of made me feel like his wife was like a target or something. That's what it kind of made me feel like. Like his wife was a target. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, so I see the accident, right, in the situation, right? Them going to get something to someone, and I know they was sightseeing. Okay, so I know they were sightseeing and probably going to get things for his significant other, right? So his partner, his significant other, probably going to go get some things from, and here I'm seeing them being sacrificed, right? Something happened, something went wrong, right? By them doing activities. Also, I have somebody in here who may have had some animosity back here for some whatever reason. Okay, here I'm seeing the obsessed, right? This just telling me that somebody making faulty choices and decisions in here. Okay, and I have somebody back there. I have some things that's going on in the home life, right? Tells me that here I got success in here, right? So his home life back home, right? Very successful. Okay, but I also have fated relationships back there. So back there, right? Not only the success, but I have fated relationships. So it could be just people that's envious of you over your success, right? So something's going on in here, right? So he trusts in the justice system, even to look deeper into this situation, right? And to look at somebody in the employment, okay? Look at somebody in his employment as well. And I don't know what this has to do with his the plane crash. Everything is allegedly, but I don't know what looking into somebody at the place of employment have to do with the accident. Okay, did somebody tamper with something for somebody? Was this a setup? Something more. So I'm just gonna leave that at that. Okay. You see the trust. And you see the crossover in employment. See, somebody is connected to this. What happened here, right? Somebody who he have a bond or even had a bond, but fated relationships. I have them connected in here, right? At this employment. So something more, right? I just want to go a little deeper in here. Socialization. Yeah, it's definitely a third party here. So it's an agent here behind here, disappointment, right? Here's the strength. So not only is somebody having some obstacles and they trying to overcome somebody in here regarding some things, but it looked like this person is in cahoots with somebody back there at that job, right? So it's a connection here, and it seems like this connection is the secret that says that somebody is an agent, right? There's a third party at this employment too that it seemed like they was having a faded relationship, but they in cahoots with each other when it comes to this crossover and the people that he have a bond with. So him and his family, right? Somebody who he trusted, right? Back here doing something underhanded. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Somebody's doing something underhanded. There's gestures in here. And it seemed like somebody was giving them, it seemed like, you see these just gestures in this park, in this future? This is the signaling, right? This is somebody frailing, ducking. This is movement. I know I got movement going on, right? Somebody could be coercing you and all this, right? See, somebody is in here is giving him the signal to go on these activities. So before this happened, somebody was already telling him like, oh, so they telling him about the future, like, oh, yeah, take so-and-so here. Oh, yeah, you should go there. Go sightseeing over New York. You understand? Somebody is giving him tips about this, right? But meanwhile, they setting it up. You understand? So I got somebody in here, the agent. They back here in this thing. They're setting this up in here, family. All right? They in here, and they, yeah, go here. It's like they're giving you tips and ideas to do something, and then you do it. Next thing you know, it become your demise. You understand? Something's going on in here. This is somebody he socialized with. You see, he have a socialization with them, although it's innocent in here, but he have a fatal relationships in here with this person, right? So it's kind of like this person that he's socializing with and telling them and giving them the tips and stuff, they're in cahoots with the third party. So they'll be saying, yeah, Miss T is going to be in that helicopter on this and that date. So they telling the third party all this information, and they setting this up. Yeah, they be tampering with things. Okay. So I'm seeing some obsessed, I'm just seeing some reckless things by somebody at home that he socialized with. So somebody at home, yeah, they're reckless back here. All right. This is the person who's setting something up with somebody back here at this employment. So somebody's in cahoots with something. Okay. Do you see the shopping and the sexual partner in his gestures? Because that's just right? He's going to do something with his significant other, and they're giving him tips. All right? So they gesturing things. They telling him things, right? Go here, go there, do this, do that. You understand? But they setting it up. Somebody he trusts, right? Trusted person, the crossover in this agent. All right, let's go a little further in these messages. Wow. Yeah. Look at the perpetrator. Look how I got the perpetrator in here, right? Look at the sexual, look at the sacrifice, look at this partner, right? In the shopping. Look at the perpetrator and his gestures, the partner, the perpetrator and his gestures. Because I have a third party back here, and I have the perpetrator, the person who's a fraud, a thief, a liar, right? They in here, they back here behind this sacrifice. You understand? They back here behind this sacrifice, okay? I don't know if they wanted to go after his significant other, or they just wanted to go after him, or maybe both. Okay, they probably had to get both out the way. You understand? But it's some things that's going on in here, allegedly. Okay, here's the envy, right? Somebody was reckless. I got to look at this caretaker. So not only do I got to look at the caretaker who's a mother back here, right, or a father back here, but or somebody who's the caretaker of a company, so somebody else that's in there, right, or who want to become a caretaker of the company, so like a CEO position. But I have to look at this in here because I got some envious things that's going on in here. Look at the world. Look how the world comes out, right, and this envious things and somebody he's socializing with. It kind of make me feel like, yeah, this gestures that they doing in here when they giving him tips, yeah, take a helicopter. You should take on a helicopter ride, right? But they setting it all up. right? Because that's what they're doing. They just setting it up, right? They have you go somewhere or do something. You get ahead, and when they know that this is what you're going to fulfill, they tamper with things, right? Yeah, people do this. Here's the child. Here's the trust and the justice in here. Here's the food. This is just consuming some things and the agent. It looked like whoever this third party is, he actually had affiliation, right, with this person. So whoever this person is back here at this employment, it's like he had an affiliation with them because it looked like, from what I could see, that they did some hookups in here. All right. And the hookups is like, you could have went out to dinner. My family could have went out to dinner with these people. And because I'm seeing it in here. Okay. I'm seeing it in here. All right. Even the child had an interest and trust for this person. So it's definitely in here. So I'm seeing a lot of violations with the ancestors throughout violations. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that in here. Okay. Let's look at the nude. All right. The nude just tells me about the nude. People violate you in many ways, right? And I am seeing a lot of violations in here. Clarity into the nude. Violations, right? And the reunite. So the violations in the reunite, not just him coming together with somebody and somebody violated him in here, but also somebody getting him to connect, right? And to do some things so they can violate him. All right. Let's go a little deeper into this. And all this violations is telling me is interference. So they can interfere in here. This 43, right? That's all this is telling me. So this person who he was having a fading relationship in here with, right? I'm seeing the unification in here, right? Who is this, right? This health professional that's in here. Because this is somebody who, and this could be a doctor, but this is somebody definitely in the health field back here. All right? That's definitely somebody who's in the health field. Okay? So this is another one. This is another person. Right? So somebody in here that's in the health field. This person's in the health field back here. Let's look at this wheel. See how this wheel is turning. Guilty. Look how this wheel is turning. Guilty. So somebody is guilty for turning this will to this man and this family demise. Somebody is guilty at that. Whatever the guilt may be that you have done in here, right? Whether you tampered with something, whether you overlooked something intentionally, right? Whether you knew something needed to be maintenance, but you didn't do it, right? Somebody is guilty of that, okay? Somebody is guilty of that. Somebody's guilty of that. There's envy back here, right? Somebody's reckless back here, making 40 choices and decisions in here. I got a perpetrator in here that was ready to sacrifice somebody, right? And a sexual partner, and their sexual partner. So however it went, was you sacrificing the mom and her sexual partner, or the husband and his sexual partner, but you was make sure you was taking them out, right? That's what I'm seeing. Go a little deeper into this, and this guilty. And look like somebody else, it looked like somebody is suffering from depression in here as well. Right? Some sort of depression. Clarity. be that doctor in there, right? Allegedly. But somebody is in here suffering from depression. Could have been going to see a doctor. Sometimes these people, they somebody guilty. Here's the rain, right? So somebody popped up as a detour. So somebody guilty in here at doing a detour, right? And causing this family demise. Something happening here. Something more happening here, right? I got a lot of energy that's telling me that somebody created something in here, right? So I'm just going to leave that here, right? Whatever they may have created in here, but they're guilty of creating this, right? This situation, which is this accident in here. So I have somebody who is guilty of doing that, okay? Somebody's guilty of that. So that's what I'm seeing, causing this demise. That's what I'm seeing in here, right? Everything is allegedly. I don't know who these folks are, family, but we are praying for these people and whatever that may have, you know, to come out, and that this family receives justice, right? Whether it's somebody overlooking something, somebody tampering with something, you know, just somebody doing something out of envy, right? Hatred. Okay? So I'm gonna leave that at that, family. You all could analyze that. On my journey, said happy Saturday, Mary. Hi, Mary. Hi, Bree. Hi, family. I see you all coming in. They just found 12-year-old Lori Page remains and charged her father with unaliving her. Thank you for that, Kiana. Thank you for that, Kiana. And you know why? Because I was going to come up here and say something, and I'm glad you spoke on that, because I did have a few of you all getting back to me regarding Lori Page. Now, I did do a reading on Lori Page, and I will say this. I kept getting a connection to the father, right? And I said I have to go back and listen to her reading. I kept getting this connection, like it's somebody connected to the father, but I kept getting a strong connection to this father, right? I don't think that I've ever thought, right, or ever indicated or even picked up that it was the father himself, right? So to get this, they come out on the father himself, right? This is awful. This is heartbreaking, right? But I kept picking up like this connection to like the father. And I'm starting to think, did this father have multiple personalities? Did he do something and not realize he did this? Like, what the hell is going on here, right? But I'm happy that they found the person who has done this, right? Because I think Lori Page was like, she was the 12-year-old little girl. I don't remember all the circumstances. I think this is the young girl who went to school and never came home. Not only that, when I was tapping into some energy before regarding Lori Page, because I believe this is her case that I'm going to speak on, I did get some energy that says that like somebody had done something to her, but the person is connected to the father, right? Like a coach or something, but it's like they're cool with the father. So I'm wondering, did something happen? Did something more? What is this? Oh, okay. Did something more happen with this baby Lori Page, and then the father didn't want something to get out or try to cover something up, and I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure. I have to go back and analyze that. But I'm happy that they caught, you know, this person who has done this. The father, they say, right? Thank you for that information. Because that almost slipped my mind. I was going to come up here and bring that up this morning. Kenyana say, yes, that's her. My journey, my God, I can't trust no one. Sure can't. What's with all these fathers doing this? Yeah. Family, let me tell you something. If own fathers is doing this to their children, own fathers, you think that you can trust anybody else? If own parents is doing this, right? You have to monitor your children at all times, right? You can't let your children out of your sight. It's sad to say, because people are not going to care and love for your children as you would, right? We would hope and pray that a father will love their children, unconditional love, like how they should, right? They supposed to give their life for their children, but instead they're taking their children's life. So it's a lot of things in the last couple of weeks. I think I have seen, yes, father after father has been doing this to their children. One case that I think I just looked at was the Latique case, right? I can't remember the first name, but the Latique. I can't remember her first name, but her father was the one who has done this to her, right? But yet you see him on the damn news. I never got a chance to tap into that energy. But yet you see him on the news talking about somebody was trying to she called her father and said somebody was trying to get in the house, or it sounded like somebody was trying to break in the house, and him and the cousin stood out there till like 1-2 o'clock in the morning, right? So you would think, okay, this is a good father, he's there for his kid. But meanwhile, you're the one that did this to your kid. Not only did you just take her life, but you assaulted her in that type of way. You understand what's going on? Family, you can't trust folks around your children. You have to watch your children. One thing the ancestors has always told me is look to your children and watch your children, right? Our children is the future. Watch your children. Watch your children. Ancestors have always embedded that in me. Watch your children. I'm side-eyeing everybody. I don't care if you are the daddy. You understand? I'm side-eyeing everybody. So yes, you have to watch your children, family. And I don't know what's going on, but in the last couple of weeks, not only am I seeing the fathers doing this, but I'm also noticing that more and more of the children are living with the fathers or the grandparents, while the mothers is just out there having a good time. They just out there doing whatever they want to do. They're not being a mother to their children. They either abusing drugs, not getting help, right? Not getting help for it, but running the street, doing whatever they want to do instead of taking care of the children. So that too. We have to take care of the children. That's it. We got to start bringing mothers and fathers back into the home and start taking care of your children. So that's another thing that's going on, family, right? People are not taking care of their children, all right? You're not watching the children. And that's heartbreaking that this happened to this baby. I think I read the other case that I did with the young girl who they said that she suffered from mental illness. She ran away from the group home. This is what they said, right? They found this baby. I think she was about 11 or 12 years old too, or 13, right? I did a reading on her. And I apologize, family, if I can't keep up with everybody's names, because I not only do I do readings on here when you all see me, but I do private readings. So it's so many, I can't keep up with everybody, okay? I can't keep up with everyone's name. But this young girl who they say ran away from the group home, they found her decapitated in bags. I didn't know how severe this was until after I got off of that live, family, okay? When I got off of that live and I was looking into this baby's case, I read that they found her in bags, trash bags, cut up, family. This is heartbreaking. Who does this to a child? You understand? Who does this to anybody, but let alone a child? We have some real evil and demonic people out here in this world, family. You have to watch your children. And if you think that the state is going to take care of them and do a better job than you are doing, you are sadly mistaken. Because they're just a number in the system. They don't care about your children like a parent is supposed to. They're not watching your children. If your children run off somewhere, they just run off. They're just going to document them as a runaway. They'll look for them whenever they can. They're not out there crying and weeping over your children, staying up for days at a time wondering what happened to the kid. No, this is the parents' job. Parents need to get themselves together and take care of their children. You had the children, take care of your children. If you can't take care of your children, give them to somebody who will take care of them. Because that's one thing the ancestors has been really, you know, it just been like some crazy energy that's been going on around, right? Crazy, wicked energy. And the energy says that the ancestors is upset regarding this. We had ancestors that had 12 and 15 children, and they took care of their 12 and 15 children. They didn't throw the children to the wolves, to the system, for the system to take care of. They struggle with their children. They work day and night. They even if they had to leave their children indoors while they went to work from sun up to sundown, they told their children who was the boss when I'm out this house, and that's who's going to run the show until I get back, till mommy and daddy get back. And that's what it was. They didn't have their children running up and down the street while they was at work. You need to take your power back and take care of your children. And when people see the children running up and down the street, they need to be reporting it to the parent. And if the parent not doing nothing after you continuously report it, then you need to be reporting it to somebody else, because obviously the parents don't care. That's the problem. That's the problem what's going on right now today. Everybody want to be their children's friend, or everybody want to leave the children neglected while they run and have them a good time. If you wanted to run and have a good time, then you shouldn't have been a parent. This is what sacrifices mean. You have to give up the running the streets to take care of your children. That's what that means. So people need to start embedding it in them, and they need to embed it in their children. We have to do better. You understand, family? We have to do better. Nobody's going to love our children like we will. I've always been, a parent. I've always been a mother bear over my children, family. And even my children at their grown age, I'm still a mother bear over my children. We need to be making sure that we are in our children's lives, even if they are the adult children. It doesn't matter. And in our grandchildren's lives, if you have them, or great-grandchildren lives, right? This lady, Bryant, right? Kelli Bryant, who left her children for 4 to 5 years, where was the family? Nobody asked? Nobody questioned nothing? Nobody came around? No family, no cousins, no uncles, no aunts, no grandparents. Nobody came around to say, listen, I ain't see these kids in 3-4 years. Where my grandkids? Let me tell you something. I don't care if my children are grown, and yes, I am a grandparent. If I see my grandchildren every day, family, right? And the days that I don't see them, I'm calling. And if I think if more than 2 days go by, and if I don't hear from my child or my grandchildren, guess what? I'm calling for a welfare check. Because that's how involved I am in my children and my grandchildren's lives. I'm very active and involved. So if I don't hear from my children, something's going on. I'm going down there to beat the door. I'm calling the police. Somebody need to go in there, and somebody need to see what's going on over there. Because I haven't heard from them. And that's not like me not to hear from them. I don't understand. I don't get it. Nobody's involved in the children's lives. Or people just don't care. They figure, because they're grown, they can do what they want to do because they're grown. It's their children. No, you still need to, because the children can't defend themselves. They are children. And sometimes we have parents out there that's not doing a greater good. So it takes somebody else to step in and intervene, somebody that's on the outside looking in and say, hey, what's going on in there? Well, what school are the kids going to? The kids need anything? Can I drop something off for the kids? Nobody's doing that. Nobody dropping nothing off for the kids. Nobody's asking about the kids for their birthdays. Nobody's bringing holiday gifts. What's going on? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I really don't understand. I don't. That just lets me, even if somebody don't want to be bothered and they distance themselves, you still should be calling for somebody to do a welfare check over there. All right? So if my kids shun me out of their lives, that's fine. But guess what? I haven't heard from my grandkids in X amount of time. I'm calling for the authorities to go over there just to check. I don't care. They don't have to know it came from you. But guess what? I'm calling because I want them just to check and do a welfare check on them and see what's going on. Because they don't talk to me. I'll be telling the officers, they don't talk to me. And I want to make sure that they're okay over there because I don't know. They don't talk to me. No, nobody does that no more. Nobody cares. That's what it is. Nobody cares. Because if you care, it only takes 2 seconds to pick up the phone and say, 911, I need somebody to go over there and check on my daughter and my grandchildren because I haven't heard from her in probably 3 months. She don't talk to me. I don't know what's going on with her, but can somebody please just go over there and make sure that they're all right? That's all it takes. So I'm going to leave that at that, family. I'm going to leave that at that. Yes, Bree, and where's the dad as well? The dads don't get off the hook this easily, right? Where the fathers at? Because us women, we didn't have these children by ourselves. We are the fathers. That's another thing. We are the fathers. Nobody believe in marriage anymore. Nobody want to get married. I done heard somebody say to me that they had the baby. I said, okay, so when you get married, and they was like, get married? I don't want to be tied down with him like that, but you had the baby to be tied down, but you don't want to get tied down by a man. But you would take the baby that he produced and be tied down by the baby and not be tied down by the man. You got your priorities wrong. You understand? The priorities is all screwed up. You shouldn't want the baby without the man. You should want the whole package. You should want the whole package. You understand, family? If you're not ready for the whole package, you shouldn't be tampering in there. You don't want the whole package. Where's the fathers? The father's not even in the picture. They just look at mom. There's no fathers. Father's gone. Father's done just like you just wanted the baby and not the whole package. Yeah. They're over there doing it to somebody else. So they done got 5 and 6 and 10 and 12 kids out there. They done lost count and they moved on to the next female. That's another thing, family. We have to stop that in our community. We have to stop that in our family. We have to stop that. We have to put an end to that. We have to teach the children now. If you can't teach your children because maybe they grown, you better get to your grandchildren and start letting your grandchildren know, listen, marriage first before the children, because that's how it should be. You should be in a union. And some people be looking like, you don't need no single parents by choice. Well, you go ahead and be a single parent because it takes a village to raise a child. Nobody wants to be a single parent if they don't have to be. Why would you want to be a single parent? Yes, it happens. Don't get me wrong. It happens. Right? It happens. It can happen. Yes. But why would you choose? Why would you choose for it to be your life? Why? I don't get it. 2 is always better than 1. That's for sure. Because I know one thing. What I can't do, I expect my husband to do. What my husband can't do, he expects me to do. So we doing this together. You know how good that feels to do something with a partner? You know how good it feels to have the extra help from a partner? That's a good feeling when you have help. Yeah. And you could come home and say, I ain't cooking today. But my kids don't have to eat no outside food either because daddy's home and daddy's going to cook today. And then the next day, the roles reverse. Daddy get the break and mommy in there cooking. You know how good that feels, family? And when payday comes, you know how good that feels? I ain't got to worry about nothing because my husband got all the big bills. And I may get all the small bills, but guess what? I ain't struggling. You understand? You know how good that feels to have a partner and raise your children in a 2-family home? You better get on board with that. And stop all this single parent by choice. Yeah, these aren't single parent by choice. These are people who probably already lived and raised their children and now they starting over again and they probably want to be a single parent. So they go to donation, to the sperm donation. Yeah, that type of thing. That is something different. But honey, you got these people that's out there, they say, come and spend the day with me in my life. Single mother of 5 with 1 on the way. How the hell did you become a single parent, okay? Because you know the ancestors tell me not to judge. But I want to know, how do you become a single parent of 5 and 1 on the way when you're pregnant? You just got pregnant. I don't understand it. You're single already? You're single already. I don't understand it. You get pregnant today, tomorrow you're single. You gotta choose wisely, family. You gotta make better decisions. You understand? I don't get it. I don't understand, right? Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that lately. Yeah, right? I'm praying, right? Because that's what the ancestors say, right? Pray for the youth because they don't know. They don't know no better. I know one thing. My grandmother had 12 children and she was married. And our grandfather was in the service. And I tell you one thing. My grandmother, she did not have her children running up and down the street. Although before my grandfather left the service, right? My grandmother had a tough road because she was basically doing the most because he was at work. He had to work. So that's understandable. But I tell you one thing, she ain't have her children running up and down the street, and all her children knew how to cook, clean, and take care of one another. That's for sure. She ain't have her children running up and down the street unkept with 12 children. My grandmother did what she had to do. And when her children started having children, when they didn't do what she wanted them to do, guess what? She was getting on them. My mother was one of them. Oh, she used to get in my mother's butt, honey. Oh, yeah, about her grandchildren. To the point that, guess what? My mother had pushed everybody away because my mother didn't want nobody in her business, or she didn't want them to know that she was messing up, right? That she was doing worldly things. My mother didn't want nobody to know that. But guess what? My grandmother was sending her older brothers over there to that house to see what's going on. Go in there over there and check on your sister and your nieces. And that's what they was doing, right? Acting like they was coming to see us, but they was going back to my grandmother, telling my grandmother everything that was going on in the house when they went there. You're damn right. Because she was keeping tabs on her children and her grandchildren. Because that's who she loved. That's what you do. Even if people don't want you to know, but when they see you hitting rock bottom, you better believe they're going to intervene. They're going to do something. They're going to step in. Nowadays, people just don't care. They don't care, family. They don't care. But we need to start bringing back the love. We need to start bringing back the love, right? We have to start bringing back the love into the family, right? Ancestors said the family union was strong, and we need to bring it back, family, right? We need to start bringing unions back, even if you don't want to get married, because there's some folks that say that they don't want to get married, right? They don't believe in marriage. Okay, so even if you do a spiritual tie with somebody, that's fine too, right? That's fine too. But you should have a union. You should, that's your little covenant. That's your union. Y'all, that's your, sacred union right there. You shouldn't be a single parent. You shouldn't be struggling, right? You should be doing this together. So I'm going to just say that. I've been seeing a lot of things that's really heartbreaking. And I wish some folks would wake up and see what's going on, because we teaching the youth, we teaching them wrong, right? Because they following in our footsteps. That's what's going on. They seeing mom do it. They seeing auntie do it. They seeing uncle do it. They seeing grandpa. They seeing father do it. They seeing them do it, and they following suit. So when we're not motivating them to do the greater good, guess what? They're not. We letting them go outside all times of the night. 11, 12 years old, they outside 11 o'clock at night. Why is you outside at 11 o'clock at night? You should be in the bed. My 16-year-olds, when they were 16, they wasn't even outside at 11 o'clock at night. Maybe if they was going to a school function or something like that, or doing a gathering with their friends and one of the parents had to pick them up. Maybe they did movie night or something. But they wasn't just out at 11 o'clock at night. You got 10, 11, 12-year-old at 11 o'clock at night. There's no curfew? I don't get it. There's no... I don't understand. I don't understand it. They just let the kids do whatever they want to do. Run the streets, run amok, and then they cry later when their kids get shot by police because they breaking and entering and doing something they shouldn't be doing because nobody's watching them. Nobody's guiding them. That's why. They're out there to fend for themselves or out there to just get into trouble because nothing is out there but trouble. Everything is closed. What are you doing out there 11 o'clock at night? So this is what's going on, family. Ancestors want us to start bringing the love back into our family. Having that tight-knit family. We need to bring that back. Not only, taking care of our children, but helping our loved ones with their children as well. There's nothing wrong with that. If you see your sister or your brother is failing at something, there's nothing wrong with uplifting them and helping them. It's nothing wrong with that. We need to be doing that. We need to be bringing back the tight-knit communities and families. This is what we need to be doing, right? So that's my message out there from the ancestors, because the ancestors sure enough has been tugging on that, right? We need to be doing that. We need to be more involved. If we was more involved in our children's lives, our nieces' lives, our nephews and so forth like that, our cousins' lives, we will have less children dying. You understand? Because we're more involved. So when we see our family coming over looking all disheveled, we shouldn't just laugh at them or make a mockery or get on the phone and talk to calling Sarah and Sally and Mary and Keisha up and saying, oh, did you see how Joseph brought the kids over looking? They had dirty shoes and the clothes were so dirty and the pants were so short. Why don't you go and get them some clothes? Why don't you go and buy them some clothes? Why don't you go and bring them some groceries? You understand? See, people got it backwards. People have it backwards, family. That's what we are supposed to be doing. We are supposed to be doing that. But everybody is not on one accord like that, right? We have the people that get on the phone that gossip instead of helping the loved ones. They talking about you instead of helping you. And that's one thing I said, I don't care. When my mother was out there in the world, I said, my mother, she had an addiction. She had a problem. I would never hold my mother at fault for a lot of things that she did when she was under the influence, right? Never, right? Because she was fighting and battling demons. See, we got people out there that's fighting and battling demons, and it only takes somebody to step up and be like, you know what? I only got a 3-bedroom apartment, but you know what? Won't you come and let the kids stay here until you get yourself together, until you get on your feet, right? That just kept the children safe. You understand? You just kept someone's children safe from whatever harm that may have been going on. You just kept them safe. But people are not doing that anymore. They rather talk about you than to help you. They rather judge you than to help you. This is what's going on. It's sad, family. It's really sad what's going on. Yeah, so Pay it forward today, family. This weekend. Somebody pay it forward. Right? Pay it forward. Definitely be that vessel to pay something forward today. Right? Even if it's just buying somebody maybe that you know may need a loaf of bread of peanut butter and jelly. Pay it forward. I know one thing. I went out on my walk today. I ain't gonna go too deep into it because you all know, family, that I'm doing my daily walks. I went out on my walk early this morning, and I paid it forward to a family. Enough said. You understand? Pay it forward. We got family that live right next door, or not even just family, strangers, right? People, neighbors, next door to us, and we got families that's starving and they can't make ends meet. Help them. Help them if you can, right? And if you can't, help them, guide them to the appropriate place that can help them if you know of any. Because that's what we should be doing. So I must just say that. Family said, yes, on my journey. Hi, Wealthy. Let's see, can you look at, who's that? Dinah Ree McAlmont? I don't know. Dinah Ree? Is that Dinah Ree McAlmont? Found dead in Bahamas. They saying he drowned, but mother said he looked beaten when she seen him when they returned his body. Okay, Donnery McAlmont. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Going to a festival with grandbaby. And phone about to die. Love you too on my journey. Enjoy the festival with the grandbaby. All right. Yes, I could look into. I think that's Donnery McAlmont. Family, you all know I botches up these names, and I don't mean to, but yes, we could look into this case here. All right. I'm gonna do a quick ancestor spread on him because I gotta get something done this morning, family. So I will look at this person. Okay. And this is just me, family, giving the message because it's so much that's been going on in these last 2 weeks. Yes, I've been seeing a lot of cases of these fathers taking their children's lives, and the mothers is just out there doing whatever. Okay, they don't even have custody of their children. Somebody else got custody of the children, right? The father or the grandparents. The message is, family, we need to start getting back into parenting, right? Loving on our children, taking care of our children, and being responsible for our own children that we brought into this world, mother and father, right? We shouldn't be looking at other people to take care of our children. But if you need the help and assistance, you should seek it. You should seek it. You sure should. But you should not be neglecting your responsibilities. Okay? And that's the thing. Right? It's too much of that's going on. Too many parents not taking care of their obligations. And we teaching the youth to follow suit. Right? So now we have the children that's coming up that they don't know anything about responsibilities. They're walking around here with no emotions. They just detach, shooting up everybody, killing up everything they see, stealing everybody's stuff because they detach. They have no emotions. They don't care about nobody's feelings or how they feel. You understand? Because look what they've been raised around. Look who's raising them. You cursing at the children all day. I seen a video with somebody, they was cursing so bad at the children. My goodness. I said, if my son son and my grandchildren had to be in that household with that parent cussing like that, they will be crying just because they heard curses all day. Who talks to children like that? That's another thing. And people thinking, no, that makes you hardcore. No children want to be hardcore. Stop teaching people that. Stop telling people that and stop teaching the children that. Children don't want to be hardcore. They want to be loved. Children are vulnerable. They don't want to be hardcore. They don't want to be tough. They don't want to be made a man or woman at a child's age. Stop telling folks that. I said, my goodness. I had to, family, I couldn't even finish it, family. The language that they was using to the children, it was heartbreaking. Who talks to children like that? And then you wonder why the children are growing up and they're calling females hoes and bees and all kind of stuff like that. Because look at what they're hearing. Look at the environment. Gotta do better. The mother up there, she twerking her butt, doing all the twerking in front of her son, the baby. What are we teaching them? We gotta do better. Yeah, you can twerk because you look fine, but do that in the privacy of your bedroom. You don't have to show it to the little ones. You understand, family? We got everything backwards. We're exposing the children to too many things that they shouldn't be exposed to. They're children. Let them stay children. They growing up too fast. That's the problem. So when you're thinking, I was just listening to the girl who said, when she was 12 years old, her mother said, you don't need to be playing with no baby dolls. You too big for that. You're a dumb bee. I just heard somebody say that, and I'm like, my goodness, 12 years, you should be playing with Barbie dolls at 12. You know what the thing is? They want you to grow up so fast, they think that you should be out there in the street at 12 years old. 12-year-olds are supposed to play with baby dolls. Yes, 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14, you should be playing with baby dolls. You should. It's not saying that you can't do the things that, preteens or teenagers do. But you're still a little child. You're a little girl. That's why people don't have ponytails in their 11 and 12-year-old child's hair no more. Why? They're still little girls. No, they got all these grown-up hairstyles on them. 5 and 6-year-old, you perming the kid hair. All these adult. Stop it. Cut it out. They're children. Oh, my Lord. It's just too much. Yeah, Ancestors was aggravated with a lot of stuff, and so was I. Yeah. I hear my ancestors speaking right on through me, right? Because my ancestors probably said, we ain't never seen nothing like this. Never. Permanent kid here at 5 and 6 years old. And all of these finger waves and all this stuff in the kid here at 6 and 7 years old. Please, you better put some ponytails in your kid here and cut this out. All right, let's look at this person, family, and I apologize you all had to hear that message the way you all had to hear it, but that's how I had to deliver it today. All right, let's look at Donnery McAlmont. Donnery McAlmont. And I know some folks didn't want to hear that. They said, Miss T, I don't want to hear that. I just come for the case. Well, too bad. Too bad you won't hear it today, because if the ancestors say that's something that need to be spoken about, somebody on here need to hear it. And I don't care if it's one person or many, but you're going to get the message, just how the ancestors want me to deliver it. Okay, let's look at, and I'm botching this name up, Donnery McAlmont. All right, ancestors, clarity into the situation regarding Donnery McAlmont. I'm only going to do the ancestor spread, family, so we'll look in and see what the ancestors say. Donnery McAlmont, clarity, ancestors, clarity, situation. Oh, child. Oh, message flew out. I'll get that in a minute. That flew out on the floor. Wow, dark. I'm getting a lot of information that says. First of all, I got I got the broken, the buried in the mail, right? It's just telling me that some things in here, I got to look at things being hidden. So the information in here is just hidden. Here's the dark. This came out of the deck, right? The dark just tells me that things is hidden, okay? Things could even happen, you know, in the dark, so at nighttime. But it's just letting me know that things are hidden. The information, the secret is the information. The mail just tells me about information, right? However, the mail is being exchanged. So however the information is being exchanged. But we got some things that's definitely hidden in here. I have something broken on here. So it let me know that something is broken, right? Something has been destroyed in some type of way. So I got to look at something on his body. It could have been broken, detached, whatever have you in here. But I got a lot of hidden things in here, right? So they're hiding some information, right? One of the things that look like they're hiding is something is broken, right? Something is broken. So this could be something internally that could be damaged, separated, broken, right? Clarity, ancestors. I'm going to go a little deeper. Clarity into the situation. Clarity. Oh, child. We'll get that. I got like 2 more messages, I think, flew out. Child. That energy is something else. I got some energy that's coming out. Spirit is upset. Here's a loss, right? And then I got a roommate in here. So I have to look at this. The roommate just tells me somebody that you share the dwelling with, whether you spend the night or you live there, all right? But I have something happening here, right? Something is damaged. And I got a roommate that's connected in here. Not only that, I got to look at somebody taking somebody, right? And I got to look at this loss in here, right? So this is the information not being given in here. But also, I got to look at somebody could actually be holding you at this point, okay? Holding you. All right, let's see. These fill out. Oh, I got a lot that flew out. We're going to just leave this together, but we'll leave this out. Because this is just a message in itself. Was he with somebody? Because, I got the boomerang that tells me about some kind of karma, right? So sometimes people make you pay for some things. I got to look at this partner. So who was he with? Who's this roommate in here? Was he with somebody? I got some illegal drugs in here, right? Sometimes they be under the influence or whatever have you. The tree of life. I got to look at somebody in the family too. That could be a part of this drowning. And look at the crossover in here. Okay. So I got some other things that's going on in here as well. All right. Yeah, they may have said he drowned, but I also got to look at some things, right? I got to look at something could be broken, right? Whether it's visible or not. But an autopsy, I'm sure, can discover these things. The thing is that I have in here is that these things is being buried. It's being hidden, okay? It's being covered up. So I have to look at some things. And just to drowning, I have to look at this. So I got to look at somebody taking you along somewhere, even holding you, and something more is going on in here. But it seemed like that information, you see the loss in this information is not being spoken about. Okay, so that's not being given. This information is not being given. Right? So don't expect someone to talk about this or to tell this. It may come out, right, in the future, but I got to look at the things that's being hidden. I'm going to go a little deeper. Clarity. And from what I can see, I know you said that this person drowned, but I'm seeing somebody who's connected in here to a roommate or employment. So it could be, just say that you're doing an outing or you going out with somebody, right? But they're connected to you through an employment or this roommate have you. But see, they talking about something, and this is what I got to look deeper into, what they hiding, right? About they talking about this, right? So the human trafficking tells me, yeah, you could be taking somebody, right? Willingly they can go, or by force. But see, they talking about this, right? Going somewhere, doing something. Even could be holding somebody, could be talking about holding somebody, but they talking about money as well and what was lost. Okay, so they talking about money, assets, a job. So this is all being played out, is what they talking about. But it looked like there's a lot of things that's being hidden. As far as this crossover go, I have a partner in here. Could be this roommate that's connected in some kind of way to somebody in here that's a part of this crossover. That's the thing, right? Karma. So somebody feel justified in doing this, basically, to you, right? And then I have somebody under the influence of something, right? Or something going on with some drugs, all right? Something going on with some drugs in there. Okay, whatever's going on with that, right? Let's look at the dark. Clarity into the dark. Ooh. Let's see what the dark is. All right, going for this clarity into the dark. Look at this. Look at this temptation, this hidden thing. So their job right here is to hide this, right? They don't want this to get out. They don't want this to come to the light, right? So everything that's going on, they do not want this to come to the light. That's why I got all of this. You see this buried and this broken and this dark. All this is hidden. They don't want it to come to the light. Look at the neglect, right? So failing to care for something or someone properly. So it's negligence. So I got to look at some negligence on somebody's behalf is what happened to this boy. All right. The devil comes out, so it lets me know that you got temptation in doing some things, right? But also that you want to keep this stuff hidden. All right. And I got to look at the neglect that you secretly done, that you're hiding, that you don't want to come to the light. So whatever the neglect may be, okay, whether you may be manhandling somebody, whether you may need, somebody need help, but you failing to care for them, right? Failing to get them help, failure to rescue somebody when you know they need help, right? Is neglect going on in here. But Ancestor says something is broken there, okay? But this is what I'm seeing. And I'm also seeing some other things going on in here, right? Where they're talking about the money. So they're talking about some financial things as well. So whatever they may need the money for, right? This is what I'm seeing in here. So Ancestors is throwing out some other things other than the crossover. So other than this young man's death, okay? But I am seeing the boomerang here by the partner, right? So some karma. Somebody felt like they want to give them karma. Who is the roommate? Who is the partner? Because this person got to be connected in some kind of way, right? To be a roommate or a partner. So you're known. So who did he go with? Because whoever he went with, I'm just seeing somebody trying to give him karma. I'm also seeing some illegal drugs involved. And it could be people hustling illegal drugs, people using illegal drugs, okay? Under the influence or something. I got to look at the tree of life. So I got to look at the partner and the family as well. And the karma, right? These people hiding things as well, okay? So people in the family could know as well and be hiding some things, right? I also got to look at the family of this young boy may know some things as well, okay? But not saying it as well. I got a lot of things that's hidden, especially when it comes to the neglect. All right. Oh, this is these people calling me. I had to call them back. All right. I got that also something about where he went. They're connected to the place. Yes, money was involved too. Sexual partner of someone, what I got too. Yes, okay. Bingo. Allegedly, I did a reading and got that it was payback for some promiscuous behavior and was beaten. Yeah, well, I'm sure if something is broken or damaged on somebody, I'm sure that, yeah, right? Something, a beating more likely probably did take place, right? But still, I have somebody failing to care for somebody and also some things being hidden in here, all right? They doing a lot of covering up, all right? This buried stuff is everything being covered up. This dark is all these things being covered up, okay? That's what I'm seeing. So we praying for this young man, right? We praying for this young man and his family. We are praying that him too, right, receive justice and whatever's going on in there, right? And that was just, I'll do a full spread the next time, right, family? I have to get some things done. So I'm going to get off of here. And I know that I spent a minute or two delivering that message because the ancestors have been tugging me about some things ever since these last couple of cases, family, that I've seen about these parents, you know, taking their children's lives. Right? We got to do better, family. We got to do better. We got to put love out there. Love, 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 love. Right? Love and healing. Love and healing. Because a lot of folks need some healing energy for some things that they have been through in their life. So I'm just going to say that. So love and healing energy is what we need to bring forth. And we need to be paying some things for it. This weekend, family, if you can help somebody, anybody, right? Pay it forward. Okay, the universe will definitely open up to you for some things that you're trying to manifest in your life as well. Okay, but you should be paying some things forward. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Right? I'm gonna get off of here. Yes, allegedly. Everything is allegedly in these readings. Okay, I don't know these people. Right? These people don't know me. Everything is allegedly, family. I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna say I love you all, family. I want you all to have a prosperous weekend. Feel free to put the comments in the comment section. And I will see some of you all on Monday, family. Okay? Love you all, family. Have a great weekend.